Magic the Gathering, yes, that moment where Magic the Gathering inescapably enters my video blog has finally arrived. Like many players, I have a strange relationship with Magic. I loved it back then. I had a period of break which lasted about 20 years, and now I'm back now that I am a parent, and I decided to start playing it with my daughter Amelia, who is 7, who is enjoying the game very much. I played the game when it first came out 25 years ago, and to me it has an important emotional resonance. I was still living in Italy at the time. I was doing high school, and English language wasn't a discipline that was taught very well. I remember, however, that we had heard about this game. We had bought some decks at an incredibly high price, small town in Italy, and then we realized we didn't know how to play because we couldn't read English very well. So we were there, my friends and I, with our English dictionaries, translating these cards words by word, the words on an Italian edition yet, word by word, so that we could play it. Probably we play some of those cards wrong, but fun enough, that is the first time that I really started thinking that learning English could be a good idea in life. Also, I didn't realize the implications, but the first time that I realized how powerful games can be when you're trying to teach stuff, which is something that I use in my profession as a professor as often as I can. I always try to get my students to play games with the material, and that's how you get people passionate. I started learning English for real, play Magic, not so much in school. And then after a while, I lost interest. I didn't have much money to buy all the decks or cards that I wanted. People around me got really into the meta and the meta and the uber meta. The game had become sort of like an arm race, a brutal, ruthless arm race without any joy anymore. And so I just gave up. But even then, I recognized when I was not playing it, the importance of Magic to our hobby, the hobby of board gaming and card gaming, of analog gaming. It really is Magic and a couple of years later, Settlers that together held the hobby together during those dark years in the late 90s and early 2000s, in which it seemed that analog gaming was going to be completely replaced by video games, and they held the hobby together until, well, then digital fatigue started kicking in and people started rediscovering the joy of holding those cards, shuffling those cards, and playing and moving those pawns around and rolling those dice, etc., etc. So to me, the importance of Magic to the hobby, whatever I do with it, whether I play it or not, is just paramount. It's important. It's really, really important. It's key. And now I decided to give a try to Magic again. I started playing it with my daughter Amelia, who is 7. She likes it very much, and we started playing it by using some starter decks. There are just starter decks that are pre-made that you can buy out there, and these are the 2 starter decks that we're going to review in this review. I bought these. I bought some of those grab bags, unsorted big bulk lots that you find in local game stores and online. So I could have a big number of commons and uncommons to customize, to make little decks. I'm not planning to become a top player anytime soon, or ever really, but what I'm planning to do is to have a lot of fun with my daughter, and definitely we have been playing with this game a lot in the last couple of days. She's really into the game, and it's funny how a couple of things. First is how little the game has changed. Yes, a lot of those keywords I didn't know from the 90s, I'm learning them now, but it's not that bad. But I'm surprised that after 25 years, there have been very few changes. The game was very solid, more than anybody could suspect, I believe, when it came out. To me, it's unbelievable that the game is still basically the same game that I remember from my high school days. Another interesting thing is to see how much Amelia is enjoying it, and how intuitive it feels to her. We played Pokemon in the past, but that somehow didn't take. We played it, we had fun, but somehow it didn't click with Amelia nearly as much as Magic has. And if the last couple of days are any indication of the future, we are going to be playing Magic for quite a while. Another interesting thing for a parent who has a 7-year-old daughter is it's always a joy to see your children reading. And sometimes they come home from school and they're tired. They like to read, but they don't feel like doing it in that moment, and then they forget, and like, why don't we watch a video instead? My daughter has been doing a lot of readings. Those cards, the effects, the flavor text, it may not seem like much, but a line here, a line there, she's doing some good reading there. And again, that's something that she's enjoying. And all of a sudden, she starts using words like automaton and other words that I'm absolutely sure she didn't have before. So even just for vocabulary acquisition and expansion, Magic has turned out to be pretty good so far. So what we're gonna do in this video and possibly in other videos in the future, we're gonna talk about these two starter decks. You can buy these two, and even if you never played Magic, you can kinda get started. I would say kinda get started because the sets don't contain the full rules, but not even say like the full partial rules. I'm not talking about the full rules that take into account every possible keyword, but a set that gives you a sense of most of the keywords, of most of the things, and some of the subtleties. There really is only a quick reference, but these days you find so many other ways of learning the game from a friend, possibly, or online. So, still they are starter decks. Still, once you figure out the rules that maybe you don't find here, you have all that you need to do to start playing. You give a deck to each player and you go, you start fighting. So, what are we gonna do? First, I'm gonna show you what's in these two decks. I'm gonna show you the cards. And then I'm gonna start sharing some ideas and considerations with you. Later in the conclusions of this video, my daughter Amelia, 7-year-old, will join us, and she'll help me give you a general review of how they play and which one is her favorite and how fun is Magic in general, and also how fun these two decks are. But we'll try to talk about these two in general. Sorry, more specifically to give you a better sense of whether these may be games for you. These may be decks for you to also maybe start with Magic again. Maybe you're also planning, should I go back or not? I cannot answer that, but maybe it can help you decide if these are the decks that you may want to use to go back to Magic, or who knows, to start for the first time. So here we go, Jace and Huatli, if this is how you pronounce her name. Each set includes a box, so you can store the deck. Each set also has a standard deck for that Planeswalker, plus a bunch of booster cards, which you can add to your deck, you can add to your collection in general. And then you have a couple of other things, such as a small poster, quick reference of rules, that kind of stuff. The box, you can see, is larger than you need, and what Amel and I do is we place an empty sleeve in there to separate the card from the main deck, the standard default deck, from other cards. So we may want to add, exchange, switch, that kind of stuff. Also, yes, we don't sleeve cards, and maybe actually that's why the deck is so, the box is thicker. Maybe it is to account for those of you that do sleeve cards. We don't like that idea. Huatli interact with dinosaurs. So here in the reserve, we place some cards for dinosaurs that represent dinosaurs. Some from the boosters themselves and some from other sources that we acquired. As for the main deck, what you're going to see here is almost exactly the Huatli deck that you would get from the set. We added in exchange a couple of cards. I think we added some special lands, some of these like red, some stone quarries, because this is a deck that uses red and white mana, so we just wanted to get a little bit of flexibility there. We added a Pegasus because we wanted a cheap flyer to protect us against enemies that fly early on in the game. Now, but other than that, you will get a sense of how the Huatli deck works. Now, very important card, the Sunblast Mount. Huatli has two of them in this deck, and it's a fairly good fighter, but really the strongest ability that this dinosaur has is the way of interacting with Huatli the Planeswalker. Because when the Sunblast Mount enters the battlefield, you may search your library and or graveyard for a card named Huatli Dinosaur Knight. So basically the Mount calls Huatli if Huatli has not come out yet, and now she comes out of the deck. If she's dead, the Sunblessed Mount resurrects her. They say that a dog is a man's best friend, but a dinosaur is Huatli's best friend. I don't know if a dog that even would resurrect you. I don't know that their dog's friendship gets that far. As for Huatli, the Planeswalker starts with 4 tokens, and then here we have the ability. As you know, with the Planeswalkers, you choose which ability to activate each turn, and you add or spend the indicated number of tokens that you place on the card. If the tokens go down to 0, the character is dead. Also, on top of modifying the pool, you do what the corresponding ability tells you. When you add tokens here, pretty much charging these abilities, you also get to put +1/+1 counters on top of other dinosaurs, hence the fact that you want a lot of dinosaurs around Huatli. When you start spending those tokens, the target dinosaur you control deals damage equal to its power, so just boom, a free attack. Or dinosaurs that you control get +4/+4, which is just mean. Then we have a lot of dinosaurs, again, some flyers, but we wanted a cheaper flyer. I'm pretty sure that this one we add that was not in the original deck. A lot of cool dinosaurs with vigilance, so attacking and not getting consumed. We really need to shuffle this deck carefully. If all the lands are together here at the bottom, that would be bad. This one, I don't think this one was in the original one, in the original Huatli deck. Territorial Hammerskull, whenever he attacks, you tap a target creature the opponent controls. Huatli Spurring, the target creature gets +2/+0, unless... But if you also control the Planeswalker, so she's in play, then it's +4/+0. As you can see, it all adds up. You got the Sunblessed Mount, which has 4 and 4, plus you start giving bonuses because of that, plus this one. A couple of hits from that guy after he has been all powered up is usually enough to win you the game. Again, this I think we added later, pretty sure actually. The Slash of Talons deals 2 damage to a target attacking or blocking creature, just when your opponent almost died and you give them that little final nudge. Ceratops with the double strike, always pleasant. On top of that, particularly important, gives a double strike to other characters. Then we have another knight that, like Huatli, likes to go around riding dinosaurs, and you can see what it does. It's not bad. It's not bad. Also pretty cheap. So kind of like your standard, serviceable, standard troop. The dragon, we added it because, hey, you need a dragon. I think you need a dragon in a good deck. I just love dragons. I put them whenever I go, no matter whatever deck I'm preparing, no matter whether it's a good idea or not. This is your standard dinosaur, just getting there. Bites hard, does not last long. Pterodon Knight, as flying as long as you control a dinosaur, which you should. If you had the Huatli deck, just stuff it with dinosaurs. I think I showed you the main cards. This is the... we have another dinosaur here. Nothing special, no abilities. So this is the general idea. You're going to get a lot of dinosaurs, dinosaur-based abilities. And again, this is another dragon that should not be there. Well, it should be there because dragons are awesome, but was not there at the beginning in the standard deck. As for Jace, Jace is a resourceful castaway that pretty much became a leader of merfolk. So green and blue merfolks. Here in the variable section, you know, behind the sleeve card, in the variable section of the box, we have just a little merfolk here, but most importantly, another Jace, not even the main Jace, just another version of Jane's Planeswalker, which we just found in a booster, so that was cool, and you can read what that one does. But, you know, this is not the default one that you may count on getting when you acquire this deck. Same as before, most things are from the standard deck. We maybe added a bunch of these lands here, but mainly it is the deck that you will get from the Jace set. Again, you're gonna get a lot of fish We got a lot of fish. This one we definitely add that again because we like flyers. This one is from the original Jace set. He enchants creatures, and now the creatures cannot untap. And then, as I said, a lot of merfolks. So we have the Merfolk Shaman, which is the Vine Shaper Mystic variant, and the merfolks interact with one another, as they very well should, because they're not particularly impressed per se. I think that the Huatli deck is pretty strong, pretty much out of the box. The Merfolk, you really need to add some stuff. And by the way, yeah, this is nowhere, say, near to be done, to be ready. We'll need to do a lot more tweaking for this deck to really be competitive. Even just speaking about Amelia and I playing together on the kitchen table, not competitive, world championship level. It's just all these merfolks come out and get eaten by dinosaurs fairly easily, it seems to me. Jace gets some abilities and also can be blocked under certain circumstances. That Jace's follower, Jungle Delver, the Speaker. And again, it's not that they don't have neat abilities, that their abilities combined with their standard stats made them just kind of okay. And again, every little bit helps, but not necessarily all that much. We have an X-Proof Merfolk Shaman, the River Herald's Boon. Again, it's the same as we saw before. Air Elemental. This is a neat one. That's basic idea, flying and hitting the heck out of people, but that's not a bad thing. So you see, we have several of these ones, maybe one too many. Maybe we could deal with one fewer. Grasping Current can be pretty powerful because it returns target creatures to their owner hand, so it slows down the enemies. Did we look at this one? I don't think so, but not very strong, but pretty resilient. But also fairly expensive for what you get. This I'm pretty sure we added Shapers of Nature. Nope, these are from the original deck, and they are neat. You need to mix things up a little bit, and then they again produce bonuses. These merfolks really need to work together really hard to pretty much do anything. Where is the Shaper Apprentice? My daughter really likes this one for reasons that are not entirely clear to me. The illustration is neat, and also she always likes strong female figures, which is good. It's a healthy thing. Deep-Root Warrior, not sure if we had it already. If we don't, well, add it. Is perfect for Jace's deck, which is a cheap, decent attacker and better defender. Where is the Planeswalker himself, though? There you go, was right there on top. For these, yeah, definitely too many. And this is Jace. His initial abilities don't seem too powerful. You got a token there, and you draw a card, which is not bad, mind you. It's just that some of the things that Huatli did are just more spectacular. With a +1, you can untap all creatures you control. This is neat, because then I'm attacking you with all I have, and then I'm getting a token, and I get to refresh all of my creatures. But this is crazy. This is the... It has a crazy ability, gain control of up to 3 creatures. So this can be pretty powerful, pretty devastating. So this is the Jace. This is the Jace deck. In a certain sense, more intuitive, more basic than the Huatli deck. But at least to me a little less fun to play. Maybe just because I like the idea of riding those gigantic monster dinosaur, charging the enemy with these beautiful, enormous beasts and stuff like that. Jace, it's a little more of a subtle thing. It's more a lot of big, small people banding together. So maybe it also requires a little more finesse. Amelia has just joined me for the conclusions of this review, and together we're going to tell you a little bit about Huatli and Jace. So, which one is your favorite of these two?
Maybe it's Jace.
Uh-huh.
I like that his ability is that he you can get a +1 token and draw a card. Also, he has a little number at the bottom, and that's how many tokens that he starts with. When they run out of tokens, they die. There.
Yeah, but you can add tokens and drawing cards you like because it gives you more options, more things that you can do.
Then there's another one that's untap all of the creatures you control, so you could attack with everyone. And then...
Give Daddy a lot of damage.
and then
Scary.
and then untap all your creatures, but then you can't attack with them. You can only use them for defense. Then
That's
this one that I
fine.
never got to use, that you have to have 10. It's a -9, so gain control up to 3 target creatures, so I could control 3 of his. Basically, you win.
Pretty much, they could just write you win the game, because if you have like 2 or 3 creatures and you take 3 of mine, I'm done, because you have a huge army and I'm like they're totally weak.
In this, it's at the beginning that this happens, and I take all your creatures, and you're at 20. Then technically you don't. It's not like you just have to lose.
It's technically no, but it's gonna happen soon. But what I like is that ability is powerful even if you don't use it, because me, the opponent, have to take care of that. I cannot let you get to so many tokens, so I have to keep attacking Jace, and so that is draining my resources while you're attacking me with the merfolks. How about the merfolks?
One of my favorite is the Shaper of Shaper of Apprentice. It's a merfolk wizard, and
Can fly as long as you control another merfolk.
Yeah. So if I had Vine Shaper Mystic,
Correct.
and the Shapeshifter.
The Shaper Apprentice?
Yeah, the Shaper Apprentice. The Shaper Apprentice could fly, and then I could give him 2 damage until he kills my flying.
Yeah, because the Vine Shaper helps the Apprentice. They help each other. There's this very strong sense of companionship. They help each other.
The Vine Shaper Mystic is also cool. When Vine Shaper Mystic enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 2 of your merfolks you control. So if I had these 2, well, first this one would give this one a +1/+1 token. Then Vine Shaper Mystic enters, and then they can each get 1 +1/+1 token.
Yeah, so they really
So it's actually useless to put it down if you only have 1, because they only get to give 1.
Yes, but that's exactly. They really work well together. It's like all small kids. They're not very strong by themselves, but a lot of them, they really help each other. And there's a card that you like very much, even though it's not a creature, which is the Castaway's Despair.
Because you can put anyone, like, they go to sleep and then they can't wake up until they find something that can take it off.
Yeah, you're waiting for me to put out my biggest monster, and all of a sudden it's tapped and despaired and cannot do much. So it's an interesting deck. I mean, you need to have a lot of people out there, and individually they're not that remarkable, but it's a fun synergy, and I'm glad that you like it, because I like Huatli a little bit more, so I'm happy we don't have to fight. But by the way, we both play with both decks. We switch decks, but then there's a deck that we like a little bit more.
And then there's this other one. That is
Jace Sentinel.
Jace Sentinel, and as long as you control Jace, Planeswalker, Jace Sentinel gets +1/+0. And can't be blocked.
And
so if these were together,
that's the good part.
Then he could not be blocked, and he got +1 and +0.
Yeah, you like unblockable creatures, and we don't have it. It's not in the standard deck, but in a booster from another deck. I've seen it, and I'll show it to you, and you can add it later. There is an ability called Island Walk that basically makes your characters unblockable if you own an island. And if you're Jace, you have island, so you give them Island Walk. I know it's a funny name, and they cannot be blocked. Now, how about Huatli? Now we'll talk a little bit about Huatli. Okay, one more.
Then there's this other merfolk that
Shaper of Nature?
Yeah, the Shaper of Nature. And if you have a forest and then 3 other ones, you can put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. Then if you have 1 water and 1 other creature, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control, and then you get to draw a card. So if you're running out of cards, do that.
Yeah,
if you have enough lands.
It's better to get the +1 counters, but if you need a card, that you take that away, and you're recycling options. So that's It gives you a lot of flexibility. Huatli is more just about getting big beasts out there and hitting hard. They can give each other bonuses, but it's not about a lot of people giving some bonuses. It's about like, here's a +4, take it and go and destroy everything. So I personally like the Huatli deck a lot. I also like the art, I like the theme, I like dinosaurs. So a lot of flyers, which is why we had to add some flyers in here, otherwise Huatli would always win against Jace. You want to show some specific cards, or you want to talk more in general? Because I'm the one that played a little bit more with this one.
Yeah, but I think there's one card that I...
Which one would you like to show them? Because in the main video I already told them a little bit about this and about the mount that resurrects Huatli or calls Huatli, which is very good. You want to start talking about Huatli while I take her special dinosaur?
One that has double strike.
Yeah, they can hear you. You don't need to lower your voice. Just speak normally. They want to hear your brain, your mind at work.
So, Huatli can put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to one target dinosaur you control, and then she gets 2 tokens. If she has 3, target dinosaur you control deals damage equal to the power to the target creature you do not control.
Yeah.
Then -7. So you need 8. Dinosaurs you control can get +4/+4 until the end of their turn. Actually, you could use this if you just have 7, but then you need one of the deck. Is it this one that?
Yeah, well, this one has already +4/+4. If you add that one, it's really tough.
Okay.
That one this is the Sunblast mount that can also call Huatli.
Yeah, so if you have Huatli and you let her die, and then you have this in your hand, all you're gonna do is place it, and then it calls Huatli if you want it. So you can even just search your graveyard for Huatli, and then find her.
Yeah, so if someone at home is planning to get a deck to start playing, my impression is that the Huatli deck is a little easier to play because the effects are powerful, because you have ways of getting the cards that you need in your hand. Jace can be really good, and Amanda likes it better than Huatli. But my impression is that if you want to be a little bit competitive, especially against this one, you need to add a little bit more. You need to tweak it a little bit.
You need flying.
For example, you need flyers. She has a lot of flying dinosaurs, and Jace doesn't fly nearly as much. Even the fact that, some merfolk fly, if there is another merfolk, well, but if that one is the first merfolk that is out there, then he or she is not flying yet. So it just seems to me this is a little more intuitive, more beginners friendly, but they're both really good, don't you think? Did you enjoy both? I enjoyed them both. Also, do you like this is the first time that we talk about Magic on camera. Do you like Magic in general, Magic the Gathering?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you'd be more enthusiastic because we've been playing it a lot. Tell us what you like about it.
Also from another deck, the Sphinx of Magosi is really good.
Okay, I see. She's still thinking about the best cards, her favorite ones, and so yeah, Sphinx of Magosi is really good, and that's one of your favorites. That's in Jace. In Jace also works very well when you add it to Jace.
We had 1, and we thought it was so good. We ordered 4 online, then we opened a booster, and we had 2.
So I hope
now we have 7.
I hope Mom doesn't watch this video and figures out that we have these impulse buys, so we just go and buy cards when we feel like we want them. So, but Magic the Gathering, you like it in general?
Yes.
It's really fun. And I think we're gonna play it a lot. A lot.
Maybe even right after this video.
I think we might. Thank you all for watching us, and let us know if you like this video, so then maybe in the future Amelia and I will get together more often to talk about Magic the Gathering. Bye everybody.
Bye.